do not have any case. Well, the one case that we had, first and foremost, we had 2 cases. We recorded one
Two
fatality.
imported cases.
2 imported cases. Then we had a death. But now the case that is present is getting better. He or she tested negative.
Yes.
So I can say that Uganda is still in the clear of any Ebola transmission or disease. But yes, it is very, very important that we also keep these standard operation procedures close to our hearts and we actually practice them. Well, I do like the way Ugandans have really moved fast. Now, if you go to different places, the first thing that you do, actually, when you're coming into Church House, the first thing that you do is to sanitize. So if you're out there, please do continue with that same mode of doing things.
You see, we don't want to hear therefore another.
Yeah. I think that was something that most Ugandans
well
during that season.
But just so to say, Uganda is a very yes, we have our challenges, but there is a capacity we've developed over time to deal with epidemics and pandemics at that level. And you do know that whenever there is something like that, including the deadliest of Ebola outbreaks between 2014, 2015, 2016, that killed tens of thousands of people across the African continent and the world, Uganda still emerged as a country that performed best in managing this situation, and we have continued to do that. We did the same with COVID-19. We excelled at that. I think Uganda was the country that was saved for the lockdowns. We had the longest lockdown, but we had the least number of casualties to the disease. That also tells you that Uganda has learnt a way of dealing with these challenges that emerge, especially the health emergencies. We do know that even now, we are talking about the 2 cases of just medical tourists, people who realized they were not okay and they said, let us go and seek medication in Uganda.
Yes.
That also tells you the confidence they had in the country that it can handle their problem. And the expertise with which our medical professionals handled them, because even at the start of the administration of the treatment, they did not know that it was actually Ebola. But it tells to the extent that they did not contract the disease, it tells you even then they knew they undertook all precautionary measures. They were very well protected in terms of protective gear. They did not get that interpersonal connection, physical connection, because at the end of the day we should have been saying all the medical professionals contracted, but none of them.
Yes.
That tells you we are handling health very well. We are very professional. We are taking it to the next level. And for me, even more important is when you go on every random social media platform, you know, there has been a very negative, malicious international campaign to attach the disease to Uganda.
Exactly.
And wherever you read, whether it is a news outlet from the major cities of the world, or it is some random politician talking things he doesn't have facts about, things like those. You see, they are talking about Uganda, Ebola in Uganda, everywhere, and Ugandans have come out from the highest officers to the lowest to actually put the record clear. We do not have Ebola in Uganda. It is true we are on alert. We don't want it to come, but it is not here, and business is moving as usual. I love Ugandans.
Definitely, people are just hating because we're able to somehow, frustrate COVID. But it is a good thing, and it is very important that we keep it that way. And of course, the public at large is actually encouraged to keep it that way. So it is important. I was moving into a hospital yesterday, and someone made a statement, and in my mind I was like, Mr. Gentleman, if you become sick right here now, what would you be saying? Because we were being asked, of course, to wash our hands before, still at the main gate, before you actually access the premises. But you're seeing someone who's trying to dodge. It's something simple. Go wash your hands, move on. It's nothing serious. But this is someone who's trying to dodge and saying a lot of things. But it is important that we do take time. Rather, we do follow these SOPs very, very seriously if we want to keep it the way it is, and we hope that we will keep it the way it is. it is important that we do take all those standard operating procedures very, very seriously. But now I'd just like to read some of the things that one should avoid, especially during this season of time where the outbreak is coming. Now, one of them is avoiding physical contact. That includes handshakes, hugging, or any other unnecessary touching. Very important. Of course, hygiene is very paramount. Frequently wash hands with clean running water and soap, or use alcohol-based sanitizers. Very, very important. But also do not touch the blood, sweat, saliva, vomit, urine, or stool of anyone who appears to be sick. Now, also, we see immediately report anyone showing signs, sudden fever, headache, vomiting, or unexplained bleeding to the toll-free line that is 0800-100-066, or by sending a free SMS to 6767. But also, there are some guidelines that have been put in places of worship. We do have public places like the markets. And of course, religious leaders must avoid laying hands on worshippers. That is something that has also been emphasized. They should avoid laying hands on worshippers or touching congregants during prayers and blessings. You see, organizers of mass gatherings must install thermal scanners. Anyone with a temperature above 38 degrees Celsius must be isolated as soon as possible. But also, all venues must maintain proper ventilation and provide adequate hand washing and waste management facilities. And of course, when we move on to public transport and schools, we see that operators of taxi, buses, borders are ordered not to transport visibly sick passengers. But now my question here is, how will they be able to know that this person is sick?
Well, again, Ugandan vintage action. Sometimes we don't know when people are sick.
You can.
But of course, we don't have the technical capacity for everyone to do the testing. And what they say, there are those, especially for the transport people.
Yes.
They call you at someone's home, so and so is sick, come and take them to the hospital. That's what usually happens.
Yes.
I think that is what they are discouraging. They say, call an ambulance. If there is no ambulance, at least contact a medical professional for them to join you at home.
Yeah.
Because in that process of transiting, getting them on the border, then you take them to the hospital, then there are some people carrying that person. All those are at the risk of contracting the disease.
Exactly. But also, vehicles have been urged to regularly disinfect. Oh my goodness, Ugandan vehicles. They should really disinfect.
We can do it. It is doable. I think when I remember again the COVID-19 times, you realize it could have not been 100%, but you saw a bit of compliance with whether it is taxis, whether it is the buses here and there. You could see at least there's hand washing at the entrances, then a bit of sanitizing for some time, especially during the times when it was so intense, and yes, a bit of washing here and there. Some Ugandans somehow try to survive. In our small capacity, we find ways of, first of all, avoiding to get it, but even on the inside, at least the effort was, if not at the level of the operators, then individuals had their own sanitizers, and before they entered taxis, you would see people trying to spray where they're going to sit or where they're going to touch.
Yes.
And for me, that is the collective effort of people is what will help us run through this problem.
Definitely. And of course, among other things, schools must also conduct routine health monitoring, avoid overcrowding in dormitories, and maintain all strict logbook of all visitors. Now, of course, the PS came out yesterday during a press briefing at the Uganda Media Center saying that the school term will not be stopped in any way. Schools will still continue. Children will still continue to, have to learn. Of course, provided that the standard operating procedures are implemented effectively. So I think this is a good call, considering that we have no case. So, why should things be put to a halt? But also, any student or staff member showing symptoms must be moved immediately to a designated isolation center within center area within the school while awaiting health authorities, and of course, etc., etc. All burials, when it comes to safe burial practices, all burials for suspected or confirmed Ebola cases must be conducted. Now, this is something that people should really, really get to understand, because you might find that maybe a family has a member who passed on, and they feel like, you know what, we will not subject them to,
Any
being
tests
taken,
and
body
indeed-
bags. You know how COVID happened. We saw some people it was not a good picture to be seen. But people have been advised that the burials should be conducted by trained, safe, and dignified burial teams. So that is very, very important to take note of. But also, for the mourner conduct, family and friends are strictly prohibited from washing, touching, or kissing the deceased. Very, very important. And of course, we do see that the government suspended the cross-border markets. What does the Daily Monitor say about
Yes, again, in efforts to cover the challenges, cross-border markets, that is one. Ordinary cross-border movement between the Uganda and the DRC, it has to be limited to the minimum.
Yes.
Such that we limit cases of movement of sick people who can get into the country and cause threaten the lives of the rest. These are, I don't know if you've seen some of these community markets. People just gather in one place, and there are very many, and they're usually very busy spaces to be in. And government is also saying we should hold on to that. Yes, of course, you spoke about the education and the many other initiatives. I know there was a proposal to close the borders completely, but the president was opposed to that, and it is not going to be done, at least not now, so that we continue having business some level until we are sure that this problem is no longer here. Not needless to forget that the Ebola virus has a 21-day gestation period, meaning by the next 3 weeks we shall know what next steps to take and indeed how to move forward. And understandably, we've seen other things that have been taken, for example, the postponement of the Matters Day celebrations.
Yes.
That is also one of the initiatives that have been undertaken, especially that we know usually Congo, after Uganda, Congo is the country that has the second largest number of pilgrims to Namgongo usually. So having them here with that risk would be quite very challenging to manage.
Yes.
I think that was a very wise decision by government at that level, and even going forward to see that flights, bus movements, it is all very important, especially from the districts that are close to the border. It is also very, very important. And going forward, you should get to see that the country stays at calm, peaceful. We continue observing the standard operating procedures like you mentioned them, and we shall sail through. We have always sailed through.
Yes.
There could be a lot of forces opposed to us and trying to say a lot of bad things about us. No, we are not those bad things are not with us. We do not have them, and we can still live in this community without even taking a fight.
Definitely. And of course, something that also the public at large should take note is that flights are going to be suspended, but that's effective. Well, as of yesterday, 2 days rather. So I think with today, then that will be an hour, or rather a day with a few hours to go. So it is important that you take note of that. You might be here booking flights to Congo, yet you are not allowed to travel. But yes, transportation has been halted temporarily, but also we see that cultural celebrations around the high-risk border districts have also been halted for some time. So if you are excited for a particular cultural event, relax a bit. It has been halted. But also something that I think is very, very important to note is that
you see that action there on the screen.
Yes,
washing hands, very important in this particular situation. You go in washing your hands. If you feel a bit of fever, a bit of headache, just don't hesitate. Walk to the health facility and tell them, this is how I am, this is how I feel, and make sure you get the kind of assistance you can get in there, because before you pose the threat to even those of us that are in the community, if you do not go to the health facility quick enough, your life is threatened. The longer you stay without starting treatment, the higher the chances of you losing your life. That is number one. 2, you pose the risk to your family, your children, your siblings, your partner. It becomes challenging at their level because at the start of it is that you are with them. So the cardinal advice is, if you feel uneasy, walk to the medical facility by yourself. You will be tested, you will be checked to see what the problem is. If it is Ebola, you will be informed. If it is not, then certainly you will also be advised accordingly on how that situation can be managed. And for me, that is the primary thing to do again, because sometimes the practice is that people wait until they are feeling extremely bad. This is very common with our gents out there in the communities. You want the feel strong way of doing things, but if you feel uneasy, please walk to that medical facility, get the assistance you need. Things will be well. Don't wait for it to be late. Don't wait for you to spread to the other people. Normal flu, go to the facility. Fever, headaches, vomiting, diarrhea, etc. Go to the facility. You will be worked on, and this is manageable. Ebola is curable, and you will come back to the community very healthy, with a sound mind, ready to mingle and go on with the rest of your undertakings in the arena. But with that, it is business as usual, and we are a good country. I like the sanitizer business is back, the mask business is back. Everywhere people are masked up and sanitizing and washing. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we should make sure that we carry that out in the best way possible. Well, now let us get into the Archbishop's moment, seeing what our Archbishop has to tell us or encourage us with this morning. Archbishop's Moment, sponsored by Uganda Christian University, a center of excellence in the heart of Africa. Join the UCU experience now. And
African Hearts Junior School, where we nurture joyful, hopeful, and God-fearing children.
You have a job, be thankful. You have a position you have, be thankful. You have a salary you have, be thankful. And also, enjoy doing your work. Because some people are suffering from what to do. Do it joyfully. And when you do it joyfully, it also, the check should really, there should be an amount put on the check, increased, for people working hard. It is interconnected. Do the job.